So we can change this.
All right, it is 7 PM, so we'll go ahead and call the meeting to order. I know it's just us, but we could go ahead and rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have an approval of the agenda, please?
So moved.
Second.
Phil has moved and Kelly has seconded to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor, please say aye and raise your right hand. Aye. Motion carries 7-0. I move we enter into executive session with Mr. Dodge to discuss a staffing position at the primary center pursuant to the justification under coma for non-elected personnel, and the open meeting will resume at, how much time do you think?
5 minutes.
At 7:06.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries 7-0. Phil seconded, Megan. Sorry, I didn't say that. We're into executive session with Mr. Dodge to discuss food service staffing pursuant to the justification under coma for non-elected personnel, and the open meeting will resume at, okay, so I'm actually going to do 5 minutes, so at 7:11.
Second.
All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 7-0. But he doesn't, a couple other things that.
I was just curious because I had something similar, but on rural.
That's where you're at.
That was the best that came out to check to see if I had a leak.
That's good.
So I was really using it.
Oh,
So a couple of
Do you
hands.
think that
Oh,
if we're
okay.
going to do that and more than wood, you could
And
allow some
Lori,
courtesy
and
call?
Lori,
I thought I'd have that at the office. We have
Like I understand.
call us on Monday.
oh, FYI.
FYI.
It's a good show.
So I'm kind of surprised.
Mhm.
Great call and say,
Yeah.
Was she reading? She was.
And he did say that he was going to look into it.
Yeah,
He was on
because
vacation.
that, so the trainings again.
All right, everyone, we'll go ahead and come back to our open meeting at old business. And under old business, we have just one item, and that is COVID staff leave. Mr. Dodge is going to talk to us about that.
Okay. So I've been approached by a number of employees that are inquiring about COVID leave for the upcoming school year. And so I wanted to visit with the board real quick to ask about this. The idea behind this with COVID itself, it's no matter what we do, we're not going to be right with our decisions. But I think one thing that I would like the board to consider is extending the COVID leave again this year. Where it's still in the community, it's still around, it's not disappearing. And as staff encounter it, they can very quickly, very easily eat up any acquired leave that someone may have. New teachers coming in with 12 days. We want to do our best so that we're keeping our staff around. The idea behind this is just continue with the process that was utilized last year, notifying the district nurse, and then they would work with payroll to make sure those days were accounted for behind the scenes.
Do you know how many days were used this way last year?
I do not have that exact number.
It's a lot.
Was it?
I did see a report that was a spreadsheet that was sent early on, and coming back from winter break, our district had a lot of individuals utilizing that, and that was just the spike that I think was encountered everywhere. In my prior district, that was very similar as well.
It wasn't just used for, like, say, I have it. It was used for if my child has it or any dependents.
And if the transmission rate for it to work through a household, it could easily acquire some days.
Those, before my time, but can you give just a brief summary of what we implemented for that? Is it just an additional amount of leave time?
It would just be time that would not be taken from their sick pool. In terms of what talked with Lisa Patrick about, what we're looking at is included within our test to stay grant that we're applying for again. It's still going with the same process that was utilized last year. If you do have it, as soon as you are 6 days out from exposure and symptom free with a negative test, you can return. That process is what we've talked about being embedded within kind of those practices, and those would be things that we would bring to you hopefully at the 22nd board meeting is what we're hoping for.
Mm-hmm. And just to be clear, to qualify for that leave to not be counted against vacation time, how the practice of that shifted last year was that process had to go through the district nurse. So you, for example, couldn't just say, I've got this, that had to be in coordination with district staff in order to qualify for that,
Okay.
correct?
That's what we're talking about.
Is that what you're talking about, continuing that in that way?
We're talking, is it one of those things where you submit your result to the nurse so that the nurse can verify that yes, it's not just a phone call, hey, I have it.
Right.
Which is not going to be as convenient for some, I think, as they'd like, but I think it's, in terms of best practices, I think it's something we need to do.
And not in a way that's doubting anyone, but just for our own record keeping of how that affects even potential future grants that we might qualify for, knowing that stuff for sure, having that additional check of at least running through Lisa, since she kind of, had this system for doing that. I just wanted to ask, make sure that was still the plan for how to.
She will be the hub for the starting point for that.
This requires a motion?
I don't think so,
No.
since it's not a part of the negotiated agreement. That was what I was, but it was just a practice thing, and
But we don't.
It's not a policy, it's.
Okay.
it's a staffing decision, so just an information and an opportunity for the board to weigh in, ask questions. Everybody good? Okay. All right, does anyone else have any executive session items? All right, If not, then we can accept a motion for adjournment. Oh, sorry. Yes, please, sorry. Thank you. I'm so excited about
That's
trying
my
to.
first big
break
thing as a
our
vice
record.
president.
Not true. That's not true. Yes, we do need to approve the personnel report. Thank you all for catching
I
that.
move we approve the personnel report.
I'll say.
Susan has moved and Tony has seconded that we approve the personnel report as presented. All those in favor, please say aye and raise your right hand. Aye. Motion carries 7-0. Okay, now we can do the.
Motion to adjourn.
Phil has moved and Tony has seconded that we adjourn. All those in favor, please say aye and raise your right hand.
Aye.
Aye. Meeting adjourned 7:17.
I'm gonna go home and write about this one in my journal.